Trade Genius.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Philip with Trade Genius. All right, so wanted to talk about where we're currently at with Bitcoin. So we'll start with where we left off last week, which was we were in this descending wedge and we were still in a sell signal short. Guys, if you want to get this signal, by the way, just head over to tradegeniusacademy.com. 50% off for a couple more days. Get package 2 or 3, and that'll have the signal in that package. That'll more than pay for itself, guys. This thing's been just hitting it on the different time frames, but this thing wasn't a short for us. And typically the way we like to teach using this indicator is, you would be trailing your stop down if you're still short on this, or you're taking smaller time frames to get short because your daily is still short. And now we've broken up above this WMA 20. Generally, if you're still short down in here, you're either trailing your stop down or you're stopped out here. And then what's going to happen is now that breaks, we look for resistance up here at this WMA 65. So that's currently where we've run up. We've had like a $1,200 day yesterday, which just goes to show you the volatility is still there in Bitcoin, even though we went through some chop here and looked pretty quiet, but and decent volume too here on the daily. So the question is the bottom in? And we're gonna discuss that here. The measured move here, basically what we do, guys, is we take, and I've discussed this in previous videos, is we measure the starting point of the wedge. And wedges in crypto are pretty powerful, whether they're descending like this one going down or ascending going up. Once they break out of their formation, they usually provide a decent move. So we like those formations. But we take this beginning move here and we slide it over to where the breakout started, which is here. And so that's where we get to this line here of 9,200. You're just taking that same distance and you're applying it to where it breaks out at. And that's how we like to measure targets on these wedge breakouts. Now, that being said, we do have some area before that we need to look at. And it's the area that's before this that I think is going to probably lock in this as being the bottom, and we're starting our next leg up. So let's take a look at that chart, and we'll go into this layout, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is on a logarithmic chart. And what it is we have this logarithmic trend line, okay? So again, this is a daily, all right? So up here, we're overbought, and over here, we're oversold. And, this is our median line here, which holds our trajectory that we've, basically we look for this trajectory to hold. And so as we move forward through the year, right now this thing's on pace for this basically 100,000 area end of the year. Now, a lot of people thinks that's ridiculous and whatnot, but you have to keep in mind that where we were April of last year is, here, right? And look at that run up that we had. So if you're looking at it from a macro viewpoint, I'll pull back to here, and then another run higher on a secular bull market is pretty appropriate. It's just people aren't used to the large 80% type pullbacks. And a lot of people, including myself, thought this is probably a major bottom, because usually the V's like that are pretty major indicators, but we could not break that cup and handle formation, right, that we got here. And also 11,700 is the critical level to get past, and it just failed there again and broke down. So here we are today, and we're back to this logarithmic chart, trend line I should say. And basically this, for me, if we can break it back above this trend line, which currently is around 8,600 to 8,700 depending when it touches, we also have this underside trend line that we actually broke through, and those typically will be resistance on the first try up. So you've got this area here before we would see that 9,200 target, which if we broke back through here, would get to that 9,200 pretty quick. But we could see a resistance here. You saw every time that this trend line has been touched, some decent bearish activity. So I think bears are going to be lining up there again around 86, 8,700. How price reacts there, or if it pauses for a little time and busts through it, that's going to be extremely bullish. But to me, you want to lock in this low here. I think this trend line break is going to be crucial to that. So that's where we're at with Bitcoin right now. Beyond that, we'll have the 200-day, which will provide some resistance again. So we've got some things to work through in these levels, but right now, volume is great. So I think that, you know, here's your daily volume, and that's good for locking in bottoms, that kind of volume. Now, flying the ointment is we are overbought on the daily. Okay, so as you can see, you know, when we get to those conditions here, what had happened there, that rolled over. So definitely need to keep an eye on that. However, you can get overbought like we are there, but it still continues to run for a bit, like you saw here, and you still were able to come up before you made a consolidation. And then you can, when you start getting into a trend, you notice that you won't get all the way back down into the oversold area on a strong trend. So keep that in mind. And also to just keep in mind where we are with the fork. Again, with our fork, we're looking at this area. Basically, this is where you want to be adding your positions if you want to add long term. And when you're up here, you know, that's not necessarily a place to add, or you're just trying to take some swing trades up there. But the you know, anything down here is your value area, and you're trying to dollar cost average for your long-term hold. This is like 12, 24 months out stuff. Our trajectory is still, you know, this trajectory is still pointing to 100K at the end of the year, which a lot of people probably think is ridiculous. But, you know, if you look back to April and of last year, so we're April 2018. If you look back at April 2017, you know, we were at just over 1,000. Look at that big run up. Okay, and nobody was thinking 20K December. I don't, you know, that was just 10K, yeah, but 20K, no. And then you have this correction back down, right, and then back up. So macro, big bull picture, this pullback seems pretty normal in actuality, even though it was like a, you know, pretty severe from the top 20K down to 6K. That's well over 50%. So that's, you know, pretty severe, but that's just the nature of crypto, Bitcoin in particular. And so, with those corrections comes large gains. So you just have to keep that in mind. So that's where we're at, and I think that we're close to maybe locking in this bottom. But again, I think the logarithmic trend line here is going to be key for that. So as far as the alts go, as you can see, lots of green over here. This is the top 25 in market cap. And some other coins have had some really nice rips higher. OMG has basically ripped pretty hard and fast, and so that's a nice one. There's been quite a few that have popped in that space. Some of the swing trades that we are in long term, we look for those to start moving up into the next 4 to 6 weeks, start hitting some of the targets that we have. So if you'd like to join us in the room, go ahead and hit the link below. And like I said, we've got 50% off on our packages. Thanks for watching, guys. So again, to recap, I think we're looking at probably Bitcoin very close to locking in a bottom here. And I think currently we'll have a little battle here at 8250 area, and then we're looking for this to run up. Ultimately, going to get really interesting at 8,700. We've noticed that the markets during the week, Bitcoin kind of is in step with the equity markets, and that kind of goes away during the weekends, and it kind of becomes more of a free market. So hopefully what we'll see is a rise up over the weekend. Also, to keep in mind, it's Friday, so when the markets close, typically about an hour after the markets close, 4 p.m. Eastern, we'll see a run up in Bitcoin. Friday evening, it's like Asia likes to buy on Saturday mornings over in Asia. So look for that in a few hours. All right, guys, that's it. Thanks for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care.
Trade Genius.